You're a teenager right now, these are your foundational years. You may think that the world is ending, but it is not, and these books will give you the perspective. However, it does not mean that what you are going through is not valid or your feelings are not valid. That is not true. Whatever you're going through, if you are feeling something, feel it. Your emotions are valid. The way you feel is valid, and it is very important for you to embrace whatever you are feeling right now. You can talk to someone, you can talk to your parents or your family or your friends, whoever you trust. Talk to them and express whatever you are feeling. And if you are a parent or anyone who has teenagers around them, please try to understand them as much as possible. They're going through a lot of change right now. They do not know how to deal with a lot of things, yet they are human beings, real human beings with real emotions, real people, real maturity. So let's treat them like human beings instead of just like shooing away whatever they're feeling or whatever they're talking about. It is time to embrace our youth. Ella Moore Journal by Libby Review is now out on Amazon. Leaving the link in description, go get it for yourself. Hey you guys, welcome back to Libby Review. I have been doing very nice. I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. In today's video, I'm going to be recommending 11 books for teenagers. This is the part 2 of a video I've already made. I will link the first part in the description. Before we start, there is another video I made which is 21 books you must read before turning 21. There are a lot of recommendations for teenagers in that video too, and I will link that also in the description. These are the foundational years of your life, and you should read books that will help you to evolve, that will help you to grow, so that once you're all grown up, you are ready to change the whole world with your love, your kindness, your power, and your courage. The first book is a series, and I want to recommend Harry Potter series. I recently finished it in March, and I read it when I had COVID, and oh my god, it is like the best if you want to escape reality. A lot of you must have already read it, but if you've not read it yet, Harry Potter series is about Harry Potter, obviously, and how he was the only boy who lived when the Dark Lord was destroying the whole wizard world. So it is basically this entire new world full of wizards and magic and this and that. It's amazing. Like seriously, it's so good. I can only imagine how helpful it would be if I was a teenager when I read this book. It is so good for stretching your imagination, 1, and 2, the lessons it gives while being so fictitious and so like it's a fantasy, and still you learn so much from it. It helps you believe in magic, which is very important. It is important for you to know and start believing in magic when you are a teenager. So read that entire series. It is a lot of fun. The details are amazing. It is a whole new world. There is this one thing that you will not want to come out of it, and you will probably hate your school and hate the real world once that entire series is over, but it is such a lifetime experience. Like I love it. Do give it a try. The next book I want to recommend is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Adichie. I have not recommended this book before to teenagers. I don't know why. It is such an important book to read as a teenager. The thing is, it is really small, and it is basically an essay that you have to read, so it will not take you a lot of time to read it. The words are not too difficult, but you do kind of get an understanding of what feminism is and why it is so important for all of us to be a feminist. So no matter what your gender is, I'm not saying that you should only read it if you identify yourself as a woman. No matter what your gender is, feminism is extremely important, and you can only embrace feminism correctly if you know what it means. Because when I was a teenager, I did not know what feminism is. What I had was internalized misogyny, which means that I tried to be like a guy, so that I would be like, yeah, I'm a feminist, I don't do those girly things and this and that, and it's really like I don't know why I did it. Feminism is not bringing men down, and feminism is not just like going and chopping off your hair or becoming a boy or becoming a tomboy. No, feminism is so much more than that. Now I'm slowly beginning to understand what feminism is, because I've been a feminist all my life. This book has been so helpful in that journey, and I really think that you should start from a young age. The next fiction book I want to recommend is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is a beautiful book. I would also recommend The Fault in Our Stars or Looking for Alaska, but those books haven't touched me as much as this book. Fault in Our Stars is an amazing romantic book, so yes, okay, fine, I'm recommending that too. It is an amazing book if you want to read a love story, but if you want to read something that is not a love story, it is more about your own self, it is about understanding yourself and all those kind of things, then you can definitely pick this book up. This book is the story of Asa, who is dealing with a lot of mental health issues. She has OCD, she does not know what to do, she is very scared of germs, and she keeps cleaning this cut that she has on her finger because she thinks that it will get infected and she will die from it. It's all a mental health problem. So it's a story of how she deals with all these issues, and at the same time how her life is going while she's dealing with all those issues. Also, the philosophy of Turtles All the Way Down, once you read the book you will know what that philosophy is, and it is beautiful. If you're an overthinker, I think this can be very helpful too. The next book I want to recommend is Lines We Cross by Randa Abdel Fattah. Now this is the spine, and the cover is not like this, the cover is completely different, but I don't have the cover with myself now. This is the story of Meena and Michael, two teenagers that come from different social backgrounds, and their families and their communities basically hate each other. They're like completely against each other, which is why Meena and Michael are also against each other. But then some things change, because of which Meena and Michael start to understand each other even more. This is basically the love story of Meena and Michael, but it's so cute. It's so cute, like so cute. I can only imagine, like I would be crying. I anyhow cried when I was reading the book, but I would cry so much if I was a teenager when I was reading this. Like it's super cute, it's super cheesy, language is very easy of course, and it is a very fun read. I think you should really read it. It's like I love it. The next book I'm going to recommend is Adulting by Niharika Gupta. I haven't recommended this book enough. I love this book so much. A lot of people have different reviews of this book, and I completely understand, but I love this book. It is the story of three people. Aisha, who is a social media manager and a blogger in these new times, and you can only imagine the kind of struggles that she is going through to maintain that image. Ruhi is a workaholic, and she's trying so hard to prove her worth. Like she works so hard, she takes no breaks whatsoever, and all she does is work, and she's very underappreciated. And then we have Tejas. Tejas is a best-selling novelist, but he is now going through a writer's block. Now somehow the lives of these three characters have mixed up, and this is the story of how they are adulting. Now what I thought is that when they're adulting, it means that maybe they are moving out, maybe they are learning how to survive in this world and this and that. But you know what, adulting is not only about doing your house chores or like moving out and doing all those kind of things. Adulting happens in your head first before you do anything else, and this is the story of these three people adulting in their head, understanding themselves, what is important to them, what is not important to them, are they doing the things that they like to do, or are they trying to please other people, what is going on. And it is a beautiful book. It is written in three perspectives of the three characters. It may be a little confusing if you're just beginning to read, because there are three narrations going on, but once you read it like for some time, it will be completely fine for you. The next book is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now this is a fictitious book that Matt Haig has written. It is a story of Nora, who is not really happy with her life, and trigger warning, she tries to commit suicide because she doesn't want to live this life anymore because it is horrible. But she ends up in this midnight library where it is always 12 a.m. The twist is that the library that she is in has all the books of her own life. Like all those books are of what would happen if Nora made a different choice. What would happen if she did this? So you pick that book and you read what your life would be like. You pick the other book and you read about the other choice that you make. There are hundreds and thousands of books like these, and Nora can just pick one up and read what her life would be like if she made a completely different choice. One, I love this concept. It is extremely simple, very simple, but I have never read it before. It is new to me. Maybe there are other books like this, but it is new to me and I love it. Two, if you have read Matt's books before, honestly, the writing in the fiction book isn't as good as his writing in non-fiction books. Like Notes on the Nervous Planet is like my most favorite book ever, and I'm so crazy about it basically because of the writing style. The writing style in this book isn't as crazy. It is extremely simple. It is like it's just like a story, but there is so much to learn from this simplicity, and there is so much to learn from Nora's story and what she learns after reading all these different books. It is very, very inspiring, it is very motivating, and you learn a lot from it. I know for a fact that teenage is a very, very difficult period, and in that time, like, we think that this is the end of the world. Something happens and we're like, it's the end of the world and nothing will ever be good again. And I completely understand that. Like, I don't know, I can't tell you how much I understand that, but reading this book may give you a little more perspective. The next book is a non-fiction book by Om Swami for you guys. It is the book of kindness. I told you, kindness is the biggest asset you can have. If you are a teenager, you're going to grow up in this world, and this world needs a lot of kindness, you guys. If you really want to bring a change in this world, if you want to make this world a better place, and even if you do not have goals of changing the world, if you want to make this world a good place for yourself, if you want to have a beautiful life, understand what kindness is. Understand the difference between kindness and charity. Understand the difference between charity and compassion. Only if you understand what these terms mean, only if you understand what kindness is, you will show it to yourself, which is so important, and only then you will be able to show kindness to the world, and the world needs it. The world needs kindness, nothing else. This is my attempt. Like, if you don't read any of the other books, just read this books. It is my attempt to, make you a kinder person, because if any of you read this book and you become slightly more kinder than you already are, or if you discover your kindness, or if you understand what kindness actually means and you embrace it, that's it. That's amazing. I cannot tell you how proud I will be of you. I know for a fact that we learn how to save ourselves from the world, how to protect ourselves from the world, and everybody, our friends and our family, teach us how to protect ourselves from the world. In that entire process, we may misunderstand what kindness is and leave kindness behind, or we may become too kind, too nice, and lose a lot of things. This book is a perfect guide for you if you're going through anything like that, or even if you're not going through anything, but if you want to understand what kindness is, because then nobody will take advantage of you and you will still be a very kind person. The next book is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. I think I recommended The Ultimate Gift by Jim Stovall in the last video. If I haven't, that book also is amazing. By the way, you have to read it. I've recommended it so many times, so I'm not going to recommend it here again. But if you've already read it, this is another book like The Ultimate Gift with a little bit of twist. So this is the story of a teacher who is extremely old and sick, and his student that has lost touch with life in general and with the teacher. Now that the teacher is sick, the student has come to meet the teacher. The teacher, being the teacher, brings back the touch of life into his student. They meet every Tuesday and have different conversations. What a beautiful book. So much to learn, and it gives you such a big perspective on life. Again, if you are too much into your head, if you overthink, if you feel like this is the end of the world, if you don't feel like people understand you, or that life is basically useless and stuff like that, read this book. Your perspective will change. It is very, very important for you to read this book. Very important. The next book is Little Women. This is a classic that you can read as a teenager. I am about to make another video on classics for beginners. You can read multiple classics from that video too, but before that, I'm recommending this book specifically for my teenagers out there, because again, this book teaches kindness of these little women. So Little Women is about the four little women, four very, very young girls and their mother, who are trying to survive in this world while their father is away to support his family. And oh my god, it's the most heartwarming book ever. It is so good, and again, it will fill you with compassion and love and kindness, and also a lot of courage and the ability to embrace yourself, the ability to be whoever you are, because Little Women do that. The Little Women always remember who they are and they always embrace themselves. The journey is difficult, but they do it. What a lovely book. The language is slightly different from normal books, obviously because it is a classic, but it is easy to read. There may be some words that you don't understand or some phrases that you don't understand. Please Google them. It is like, it's not a lot. That is what I mean to say. You can still read this book. It's amazing. Take your time with it, but read it. The next book is for anyone who is not able to understand which career they should be picking or what to do about their career, basically all those kind of things. And the book is Trapped by Rajat Chakrabarti. I also recommend this in my business book recommendations. Career is one of the biggest part of a teenager, and this book is amazing for you no matter what age you are in your teenage. It will help you understand what career is, what passion is, and what are the things you require in order to understand what your passion and your career is. Very simply written, no complications at all, and trust me, you will get something or else out of this book. The next book I'm going to recommend is a purely fiction book, only for you to enjoy, but I do want to give a trigger warning of self-harm, dark content, tragedy, everything. And the book is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Now, I love this book so much. I read it in one sitting. It's a story of 4 cousins / friends, and they call themselves the Liars. They meet every summer and they spend their entire summer together, but something happens one summer that completely changes the lives of all these 4 people. The protagonist already has a lot of mental health issues, not only because of what she's going through, but also because of the family dynamic. So it's the story of how she's dealing with everything. Again, it is the most gorgeous tragedy ever. I love this book so much for its tragedy, but if you're not in the mood of reading some tragedy, then don't read this book. Alright you guys, this is it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really like the recommendations I have given. I feel good about myself while making the video, and I really hope that you got at least one book out of this entire pile for yourself. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe, bell button, all those amazing things. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.